And testing, 1, 2, 3. Is this thing on? I hope so. Let's go live because we have yet another episode of Ham2K Chats. Today I invited um, W8NI, Kevin. He's actually I would, I'll tell you about him later, but he's basically my first ham friend from Polo, the first person I met in person thanks to working on Polo. And I'll tell you more about the story later. But in the meantime, let's bring Kevin into the show. Kevin, how are you?
Hey, Sebastian, doing well.
Welcome to our little chat here at Ham2K. Um, I want to introduce everybody. You are Whiskey 8 November India, and you live
hmm
in Ohio.
hmm
And I'm gonna let you fill in the rest of the details. How come? How did you become a ham?
Well, I think you also became a ham around the same time I did, around 2020 ish.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of us are COVID hams.
yeah,
Yeah, I, w-
pandemic hams.
yeah. I was just trying to find something to do to keep myself busy during the whole quarantine issue, and my father-in-law is a Marine. You have to say is a Marine for those Marine guys. And he was a radio man, and so I wanted to do a little bit of CW, learn Morse code, because that's what he did in Vietnam. So I started learning Morse code, and as I learned Morse code, I found out this vast world of ham radio. And before that, I had never known anything about ham radio. So it was kind of a new endeavor for me. I got licensed, and here I am, still on the
Yeah,
journey of hey.
the CW. I finally got into CW now lately. This year, I did my first couple of pod activations with CW only. Um, do you do voice too, phone, or just CW mostly? Am I glitching? And are you
Yeah,
listening?
sorry, you glitched there for a minute. It was probably mine. But
I
what
was
was the
asking
question?
if you do mostly CW or you also do phone.
I do mostly CW now, but I still love phone, and I may even do digital from time to time. So you never know where you're going to get me. I do mostly digital at home. Sit up on the couch with the wife and use my iPad to link down to
Yeah,
my Raspberry Pi.
yeah, it's easy to do when, especially when you're in the company of others.
Uh huh.
It's a lot easier to do FT8 and RT2Y really when you don't have to make loud noises,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's good to do when you're with others. And
Yeah.
you do a lot of PODA too, right?
Yeah, I do. I think I might close in on the 1,500 activations by the end of the year. Maybe if I get my button gear. I haven't done a lot recently, but
So just a
I'm
few
up in the
activations here and there.
1,200s. Yeah, I'm up in the 1,200 somewhere.
1,200, that's crazy. I'm only at 150. I'm closing on 150. I've done 10 for each one I've done.
Yeah, my goal's
Um,
always 365 a year. I've yet to get that, but I'm usually getting around 340, 350 a year.
that's that. I mean, my goal is 50 a year, one per week or so. And I tend to do them not one a week, but like on a weekend I'll do five,
Mm-hmm.
and then spend 2 weeks where I don't have a chance to go operate, and then do another three or four, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
That's my. I try
Yeah.
to do operations every time there's a new release of Polo before I push it out to really give it a good kick in the tires. Last weekend was fantastic. I did three ops on Saturday on Sunday. My wife was away, and I went to uh, to three parks about an hour away that were close to each other that were new to me, and I spent like 30 to 40 minutes at each park, and I got about 100 Qs on each,
Wow.
and that was spending like 10 minutes also searching for park to parks afterwards. It was like 30 minutes of pile ups nonstop, and then some park to parks, and that was a lot of fun, and it was a good test to follow. The April release just went out for the beta testers, the pre-release for April, and I wanted to give it a good test beforehand. Oops! Now it's
Uh-oh.
my camera that's glitching. Yay! Lots of technical problems today. That's why I have a second camera, but I'm gonna have to move things around to make that work.
Yeah, I think sideband, you get a lot more pileups on sideband. CW, it's usually 8 to 10. You get pretty heavy, and then they start to space out a little bit. So if you want a good pileup, go sideband. Everybody can do sideband.
And the pileups you get on one thing that really got me into POTA is that pileups are fun.
Yeah.
And the only way to get a pileup normally would be in a contest with a big station,
right?
With high power, with QRO, and it's really hard to get a pileup going on a contest if you don't have 1,500 watts. But on any random day, you go to a park with 100 watts and a little wire, and you can get a pileup for an hour or two if the conditions are right. That's like 200 QSO/hour rates and things like that every week. So if you're a contester and you want to practice handling pileups, get into POTA. That's the best way to practice regularly. I saw somebody recently talk about how for CW there are some training tools that can simulate a pileup for you to train reading call signs. There's no such thing for phone, but you can do it with POTA. That's
right.
The secret.
Yeah, I activated. I was privileged to activate one of the parks. Actually, one just 4 miles down the road. I was the first activator there, and really was one of the first ones in my area to be into parks on the air. And I think it was 180 some contacts in 1 hour there because it was a new park and everybody wanted it, and that was a solar minimum. And it was early on in my life as a ham radio operator. I was literally scared to go back out. I didn't want to have another pileup like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know that. I know the feeling you're talking about.
Yeah.
So the way we met, it was like, and I didn't realize this, but I released Polo a bit over a year ago. I totally missed the Polo anniversary. But at the end of February, I asked for beta testers privately, and at the end of March, I was putting it up on the app stores and making it public. And then I believe you showed up at the Discord. I don't know if it was the Polo Discord or one of the POTA Discords. And I said I decided I wanted to go to Hambention, and I figured I'm going to try to get some parks activated in the area. And I remember that I asked if somebody was near. I mean, I think that my plan was to fly to Cincinnati because it's kind of like the corner of Kentucky. It was not far, Ohio and Indiana, and try to get 3 states activated. And I posted on the Discord, hey, somebody near Cincinnati wants to pick me up from the airport, and you raise your hand right away.
Oh, heck yeah.
Sure, I'll do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, I'm going down there anyways, and I was planning on doing the exact same thing you wanted to do, so.
But you don't live near Cincinnati.
I'm sorry, what?
You don't live near Cincinnati. You live on the opposite end of Ohio, right? You end up driving past Dayton.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of hours to go pick me up.
But it's Kentucky, and it's right there, so why wouldn't you do activation?
Right? Yeah. And I mean, I there was a funny thing that happened then. I don't know. You didn't say anything at the time, but you picked me up at the airport, and I was really hungry. And I said, let's go eat something first.
Yeah.
And I was a navigator. You were driving.
Yep.
I pull up the phone and try to find a restaurant, and I look what was available around, and ended up at a restaurant that sold burgers and fries and stuff like that. And we stopped for a burger and a beer. I didn't realize, and I know that you're a married man. That's you're a good man that doesn't try to do that kind of thing. I thought so. The restaurant was named Twin Peaks. and it
Yeah.
was not a reference to the TV series
No, it
or to
wasn't.
David
Eh,
Lynch. So it's
we
like I
didn't
didn't
know.
realize it until, and the photos in the Google the Google reviews didn't show it, but it was it was a themed restaurant in the tradition of Hooters and other
Yeah.
places like that. Um, and the food was good. The food
Yeah, it was.
was fine.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was not expecting to end up at a place like that, and you handle it very graciously.
That wasn't a big deal.
Uh,
Oh my goodness. Prior military, Hooters was the place to go. My wife always picks on me. We took her when she was 7, 8 months pregnant to a Hooters, me and a bunch of guys. That was just not a good thing for us to do, but yeah, it happens.
yeah. So yeah, there's no Twin Peaks around New York or in the East Coast that I
Yeah.
know. But yeah, that was fun. And then we went and did we did like 5 parks, I believe. There's
5,
a
yeah.
couple of them were twofers.
Mhm.
We did a park in Kentucky, then one in Indiana, and then back to Ohio, and then finally you
Mhm.
dropped me off at my hotel in Dayton, and
Mhm.
that was very. I mean, I really appreciated it at the time. I still appreciate it. Hasn't changed my appreciation. Um, and I remember that I hope you gave your wife the message that I told you that you are a very good driver, very safe and reliable. I think I even put in a QSL card I sent you
Yeah.
as
I
notarized
did.
proof.
Yeah, I did tell her, but she still doesn't buy it.
Yeah. One day I'll avow that in person.
Okay.
Uh, so yeah, no,
Uh,
you've helped me with my goal of I want to do activate all 50 states, but
mm,
I'm not a retired person that goes around camping. I would love to go around camping in all 50 states, but
mhm.
right now I work full time, basically 2 jobs now with Polo.
Yeah.
So I don't have that much time to go. But every time I have an opportunity to travel for work, for pleasure, I bring at least a little radio and I try to find local people to operate with. I went on vacation to Puerto Rico a couple of weekends ago and had a fantastic time there. I posted on the Instagram, and I really enjoy the friendship of ham radio, of people that all I need to do is post on a Discord. Hey, anyone around this town want to go activate a park together?
Mhm.
To the point where I think I might not need to travel with a radio anymore. I think I can find somebody with a radio wherever I go.
Mhm.
I've done that in Colorado, in San Francisco, in Puerto Rico now, in Ohio. It's really it's I really enjoy that part of the hobby and appreciate it
Mhm.
a lot.
So how many states are you up to? You want a goal of 50? How many are you up
Um
to?
I'm at, let me take a quick look. I have, let's see, where's my POTA page? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 12, 15 states.
Okay. Yeah.
I have Connecticut right next to me that I can activate anytime, and I haven't bothered just because it's easy. The other easy nearby ones would be like Delaware and Virginia and the DC area. I might make a weekend trip to activate a few of those.
Mhm.
The rest will take, I don't know, random plans to travel somewhere to activate them, but I'll get on it. I'll try. I also want, we have the club call. You happen to be one of the directors of the Ham2K
Huh?
Amateur Radio Club, along with my friend John KN2X. And we have
Mhm.
the club call sign that we want to activate every state with. So if you're in one of the states that we haven't activated yet, and there's still a bunch, get in touch. Go on the Discord or the forums too, forums.ham2k.com, and you can use the club call. We can
Mhm.
coordinate and activate from your state or a nearby state, and add one more to the list. We need lots of still plenty of states to activate.
Mhm.
So anytime anybody wants to do it, drop by any of the community channels, and we'll get you on. I'm reading here in the chat, lots of people talking about the scenic views, the cold beers. of the restaurants we were talking about, and but also about the friendship and like the connections. Like I love Parike has invited me to Ireland. I'm gonna do that. I'll show up there. We'll do that. I want to go to Ireland.
I married a woman. My wife's name is Kelly Marie. Her maiden name is McGarity, and she was even born on St. Patty's Day. And yeah, that's one of our bucket list things is to get to Ireland. Um, so
Well,
yeah,
we'll shop to Parike's Park, and we'll celebrate that there.
yeah.
Yeah. The what else? I mean, the I find that the ability to travel around on an RV and go to parks is very tempting. Something that my life doesn't allow right now. My wife works at a school. I work full time, like I said, but finally the kids are off in college and graduating. They're like we're
Hmm.
empty nesting now, and like the mobility changes, and we can start going around places like that. I
Mm.
just need to convince my wife. Now that I'm doing CW, she tolerates being with me as we operate because it's not the loud repeatedness of phone activations, but also like that activation in Puerto Rico. We spent like 8 hours at a deserted beach with a group of hams activating all the time, but like apparently being by the beach with other people and talking and having beers and going on the ocean was
Hmm.
enough to drown the problems of being somebody being operating next to you nonstop calling call signs. So
Yeah,
that's the trick. Go to a nice beach and you can operate as long as you want.
that is true. I did a activation in Florida on a beach, and my wife was okay with it. She just
Yeah,
laid there and enjoyed the sun.
yeah. But yeah, I did one in Massachusetts. My very first CW operation, she was with me in the car because it was like an opportunistic activation, as I called them.
Hmm.
And she will just do her knitting, and I was on CW and like quietly with headphones, and we were just sitting in the car quietly, each one doing their things with their hands for like 20 minutes. That's all it took me to do the activation, and then we moved on.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah, absolutely. It's that you evidently use headphones then for your CW
for CW, yeah.
activations.
When I did with her in the car, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I can drive her crazy otherwise.
Yeah. I don't usually do it, but yeah, if she was ever with me, I would have to do that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, so going back to the matter at hand of Ham2K Polo, lately you've been helping us with the QSO parties, entering you and a bunch of people, in particularly the main girl and boy, Whiskey One Golf Romeo Lima and Whiskey One Bravo Oscar Yankee.
Hmm.
They've been very active too, and Woody. But you started entering some of the counties for a few of the QSO parties, and I really appreciate that in part because the typing those counties from the rule pages is annoying. They I would love for them to provide a text file with just the county names and abbreviations.
Yeah.
They don't need to do a fancy PDF that prints out beautifully because I want that printed out my own style. But and doing that for 50 QSO parties is going to
Hmm.
be a sludge. We're about halfway
Hmm.
there. I think we have about 20, 25 or so. We still need to review the rules in a few of them, but I'm confident that we have them all ready by the time each QSO party happens.
Hmm.
The goal is to be at least 1 month ahead. So the April release should include all the QSO parties that are coming up in May, and so on. If anybody watching this video wants to help with this, we'd love your support, especially if you are familiar with any of these states and can help us review the rules and even do like a test run of logging and seeing if the scoring seems correct. And even better, if you want to contact the organizers and submit a test Cabrillo file to see if it works well with the software, all of that validation would be really, really valuable. and it's something I can't do by myself, but that a lot of you can easily help with. So I really want to invite you to join in our Discord. You'll find the links in polo.ham2k.com, the website. Join the Discord and ask around, and there's not just me. There's a lot of people who are there really ready to help guide you through the process of looking at QSO parties and managing the code. People have started also editing the manual, the documentation. That's something you can help with too. So I really invite everybody watching this to first to do the thing like to subscribe, do the YouTube thing, leave your comments and all that, but join the Discord and help us bring all the QSO parties coverage to 100%. I really want to have all of them ready this year, and definitely completely verified and validated, and trying to deal with all the rule variations in all of them, and confirm that they work correctly.
Yeah, I did I am no, I say no code. I do Morse code. I just don't do computer code. I am no code at all, and I was able to do a lot of that. Just updating. I felt like it was more data entry. You know, I can do the data entry, and you guys can make sure all the code works.
Here's a main girl saying that she finds typing the county is very zen. Yeah, I find. I mean, it's funny. I find running a pileup very zen. It's one of the things I like about contesting or POTA is that you get in the zone, and it really resets my brain doing an operation on a weekend. It's like it disconnects from the work of the previous weeks and resets the brain in a way that other things don't do. It's like because you can only focus on one thing. You cannot get distracted, and it really gets that effect of Zen meditation. Yeah.
Yes, Bo, I can type. No, I just copy and paste.
There's some.
Bo and I were both in the Navy together,
Yeah.
not together, but we were both in the Navy, so we have a unique relationship. If you see us yelling at each other, it's okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, back to Polo. The big thing coming on the April release is there's no new major features, at least not yet. There's still time to add a couple of things, but I'm mostly working on fixing a few bugs, and I did a big overhaul of the internals of the app. Like, we use a framework called React Native that lets us write code that works both on Android and iOS. And we were running on an older version of React Native, version 0.74, if that means anything. And they've been releasing newer versions, and they were up to 0.78, and there were some significant changes we wanted to take advantage. And it required, for the last 3 months, I've been slowly working towards this, like fixing things in the app so I could move to the latest version. And it's finally ready. It seems to be working fine. It feels faster than the previous version. I don't have a good way to measure, and I'm too lazy to go and do a serious measurement. So I'm going to say, yes, it is faster. And I'm going to guess that it's about 20% faster. That's the number I'm going to throw out there, and I'm going to stand by it. But it's. I would like for any of you who's in the testing group, and if you are not in the testing group, it's not too hard to join it. I'm going to sound repetitive, but join the Discord, and we'll help you switch to the testing, the pre-release versions of the app. I want to give it a good test, because there's still the chance that there's some subtle problems in parts of the app that are affected by this big change. And that's also why I don't want to add anything too big to the changes I have for this release. Old Man Overland asks if there's any update on the PC version. The update is that it's still in the plans. The best update I can give you is that I'm getting itchy, and it might be the kind of thing that one of these weekends I say, screw it, I'm going to start trying to get it to work and jump on it. I did wanted to get this React overhaul in place before doing that. So I got one thing out of the way. I want to get the sync service working, at least before we make the PC version fully public. But it might be something that we work alongside the PC version to get both ready in the next couple of months. So the short answer is anytime now we'll start working on it, and I think it's going to take a couple of months to get all the features in Polo on that desktop version, from the phone version to the desktop, but it's not going to be 6 months to get it there. Should be a relatively quick process. Another update is that we're also working on the cat control. That's still moving along. There's a group of people. That's something I'm not involved in because I'm not that much into hardware development and low-level programming and electronics. But there's some people in the community who are and have been starting to experiment on how to build like microcontrollers that can connect a radio to Bluetooth on the phone, because most radios use like regular serial. Some have Bluetooth, some have Wi-Fi, and there might be ways of connecting them. Especially on iPhones, Wi-Fi is the only mechanism you could use, or Bluetooth low energy, and no radio has Bluetooth low energy support, BLE, and so we want to get that in place before we start really working into the cat control part of it. But that's also moving. It's crazy to think that we finally have a large enough community that we're trying several things at the same time. We're working on QSO parties, we're working on cat control, and we're working on the rest of the development at the same time because there's enough people willing to throw a hand and get that going. So that really makes me very happy and proud of what we've accomplished here. I don't know if you have questions, Kevin. If you have something you want to share, questions about how to do something in the app. I think I got glitched again with Kevin. Do you hear me now, Kevin?
Oh yeah, I heard you. I'm sorry. I was reading the comments there. What was that?
You were reading the chat. No, if is there any feature of the app that you would like to have questions or want me to show? What's your favorite feature on the app?
Well, I just dove into doing your own notes, hams of notes. We got that main one that comes down, but I just started doing that. There's so many people out there that go by their middle name. Even on CW, I get a William. Do you go by Will? Do you go by William? Or Robert?
Or
do you go by Bob or Rob? And I will send them that on CW and get their response so that I can know. And then you can enter that. And I think that's a good one to show people is how they can enter that into
how to do a notes file, their own notes file.
I mean,
easy. we can. I think on the video with Dan, we recorded some of that, but it might be a good idea to try and do that from scratch. And I'm gonna try to do something here, which is, let me see if I can put everything in one shared screen and share that screen as we record. So let's see. I'm going to put shared screen. Here's my screen. Here we go. And let's put the screens like this.
No.
Like, like this. Okay.
All right.
So the first thing you need to do is make sure that you have the call sign notes feature enabled, this one here. And then once you enable it, you control it in the data settings in the call sign notes section. And there's some information here how to do it. You can read it, or you can just watch this video. To start, I recommend you go, let me do something off of screen so you don't see all my other documents in Google Drive. but let's say I created a new document here, and I'm gonna do a little file where I put W8NI, and I'm gonna give you. Let's say that I discovered that you don't like to be called Kevin, but you like to be called Kev.
Yep.
Uh, and I'm going to write Kev from Discord. And I'm going to add here also W1WC, and he's late for dinner. um, so I have this file. We can add more. You click on share my notes, and anyone with the link, and you copy the link. And now you add a new file, and you call here my notes, and you. It's not pasting the link. Let's see. Why doesn't it want to? Oh, it's because it's this emulator. It's not automatic. Now I can paste. Oops. So I have the link. I click done, and I have my notes file. That's it. Now I go, and let's say I'm in an operation, and I type here W8NI. Oh wait, it hasn't updated the file. Data settings, my notes, refresh. 2 call sign notes. This is a way to know it's loading correctly. There's 2 lines in that file, so let's see if it works, or if I need to restart the app for it to work well. No, hold on. So let's kill the app and start it again. And Kev from Discord. Here we go. That's it. That's all you need to do. If you want, if after the call sign you put an emoji, that will show up whenever that person shows up. It does need you to go into settings and refresh the file to get the changes right away. And hold on. If I type, now I get the taco here. And if Brian happens to be spotted, this emoji you see here comes from those files. So the ones you see here comes from the internal, from the Ham2K file. But if you add your own, they will show up there. I really suggest one thing you can do, for example, is create a file. You can have more than one file at a time. So you can create one for example, if you're part of a club, you can create a file for all the club members. You can share that file with the club members so that they can all add it to Polo, and then it will show the club members in front and highlight them with whatever emoji you pick, so that you will see if you run into one that you don't remember the call sign, you'll highlight it right away before you have to remember. I added this feature because I'm terrible at remembering names and even call signs. So it takes me a long time to work with somebody. I have to work you like 20 times before I start remembering your call sign. I'm not like James. I need the help from the computer. But with this, it reminds me of everybody I want to say hi to. I have them in a notes file that I can manage this way. And that's it. That's all you need to do to manage your notes files. And if you don't like the notes we do for Ham2K, you can even disable them here, or you can add more. You can add your own and share the club calls. And that's about it. That's how you do call sign notes. And again, the instructions are right here in the page on how to do this.
Yeah, I really appreciated that. I did a single sideband activation probably a week ago now, and it it was nice to be able to look at that. You see who the Ham2K supporters are, and when you get a contact with them, you can say, "Hey, thanks so much for supporting them," and it's
I
kind of makes us a community, more of a
Yeah, I
community.
like I love saying that to people. I love hearing about people who are using Polo when I'm activating. But I love to be able to tell people like thanks for their contribution. And part of the people who are listed in the Ham2K notes file is people who volunteered on programs like POTA and
Hmm.
SODA and World Wildlife, uh, Flora and Fauna, because I think that they deserve recognition for their work. So I want to highlight it so that others
Hmm.
can give them thanks when they work them.
Hmm.
That's the goal there. There's and same thing with the YouTubers, the Instagrammers, the TikTokers, and anybody. If you think of somebody who deserves recognition that's not there, I'm gonna sound repetitive, but go to the Discord and bring it up, and we'll correct that. We'll add anybody. Um, if you want to be added, the easiest way is to contribute some money to Ham2K. It doesn't require that. All you need to do sometimes is ask nicely, and who knows, you might end up there in the file. But everybody who donates money will show up there in the Ham2K Hams of Notes file. Um, Including Brian. Brian got his own penguin emoji in the notes file. He's earned it. Uh,
Uh,
and this was one of the first features I implemented on Polo. It's like I really wanted to have that in place. Again, because I'm terrible at remembering things, and computers are good at remembering things,
right.
and so I want them to do all the work for me.
Oh, I had a
Yeah,
glitch there.
we're glitching today.
Yeah, just there, just did. I missed
It's
after the computers are good for remembering things, and yeah, I'm not
and
either.
glitching. Computers are also good at glitching. That's the that's the truth. Uh, I don't know if the chat has any questions tonight that we haven't answered, but if not, then we might
I
end
turned
this
mine off.
stream soon. Um, Try to save us from the glitches, the broken camera. Everything's. I think the sun's acting up today. That's it. I'm gonna blame it on that. Uh,
I
well,
agree. It makes polo unique and fun. It really does when you've got the different people in there.
yeah, and I love also like when you type a random call sign and it comes up with a fact that this guy happens to be a YouTuber and has a link to their YouTube or their Instagram, and you can open it up and get distracted, lose your pile up, and start looking at photos and then follow them, and then try to come
Mhm.
back.
Mm.
Yeah, no, that's true. Well, Kevin, really, thank you very much for being with us tonight, and thank you very much for picking me up at the airport a year ago. I don't think
My
we're going to be
pleasure.
able to meet this year at Dayton. I almost didn't make it, and I think you're not going to make it, but they're still next year.
Yeah, I'm only 3 miles away from the place. I mean, 3 hours away from the place, so there's no reason I miss it. But this year, I have a niece getting married on Saturday. He just
Yeah,
in South Carolina. So
it's okay. It's okay,
some people have no consideration.
right? Yeah. Uh,
Uh,
People are asking for patches and Ham2K polo shirts. I'll work on that. I'll try to find a way to do it. That's not gonna because I don't want to get into the merch business. I want to keep working on coding. Um, but if I find a way of doing merch that doesn't take too much of my attention, I'll try to enable it. And there are ways of doing it, but not all of them are good quality. So I don't
mhm,
want to. I don't want to do crappy merch, and I don't want to have to spend too much time in merch. If I can solve those
mhm,
two things, I'll have some merch going on. Otherwise, I'd rather spend my time coding and making Polo better. Um, but if somebody knows how to do good patches or good shirts, let me know. again, on the Discord.
Yeah.
Everything happens on the Discord. So go there. Great. Kevin, thank you very much. I'll see you on the Discord. And everybody else, I hope to see you on the Discord too. And remember, like, subscribe, link, like, click on the bell, get the alerts, comment. Leave in the comment what's your favorite Ham2K, Ham of Notes emoji, or if we missed somebody. And I'll see you all on the air and in the different channels. 73, and have a good night.